right. Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be on ICAN On Air again today. And this is a special episode where we have the Honourable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris. And today we are looking at communicating reforms, why trust is Nigeria's most valuable currency. Before we go further, I will want to hand over to the 61st ICAN President in person of Malam Haruna Umayaya, MNI, PhD, FCA, to welcome the Honourable Minister of Information and National Orientation. Mr. President, you're welcome, sir.
Good evening, my distinguished professional colleagues. Good evening, my Honourable Minister of Information. We are privileged to have you in this our program, where you have opportunity to speak with to over 60,000 chartered accountants in Nigeria and in diaspora. Because this program is an international program, we have people watching us from all over the world. Without wasting much of our time, I welcome the Minister on behalf of the Council and members to this our special edition of ICAN On Air. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Tosin, you can go ahead now.
Thank you very much, my President. Thank you so much for joining us to welcome the Honourable Minister of Information. Honourable Minister, once again, it is a privilege to welcome you on this show, ICAN On Air.
Thank you once again. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much. I'm Tosin Akimomi, FCA, and I'll be doing this with Isijola Blessing, ACA, to speak today on the topic, communicating reforms, why trust is Nigeria's most valuable currency. Of course, we understand that in this administration, there have been so many reforms ongoing. The Nigerians have been seeing reforms in the tax arena, reforms in the projects. A whole lot of reforms are currently ongoing. And being the Minister of Information, we thought it wise to hear from you why we, as professionals, should actually trust those reforms and then possibly have belief in the administration such that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. So we want you to speak through the reforms that is ongoing in this current administration and what we have there for Nigerians and professionals like us.
Well, thank you very much once again. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, leadership and members of ICAN, particularly my brother, the president, the current president of ICAN. Let me state from the outset that he is indeed my brother, the first ICAN president to come from my extended family in Niger State. So don't be surprised that I'm here. I'm also been directed by the president to actually appear here. So thank you for the opportunity. Let me also say that when the invitation came to me, I was wondering what the Minister of Information will have to do with ICAN. I'm not a chartered accountant. Almost everyone I can see on the screen has an FCA ahead of his name. I don't have one. I hope that I will earn an honorary title when I finish this program. So thank you for having me. All of us know that Nigeria has had a very long history of economic turbulence generally. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaigned on the premise that he is going to, one, reposition this country economically, and also reposition it structurally, politically also. Now, when he came into office in 2023, and all of you know this, that within minutes after taking over, because he has done a lot of work before he assumed that office, he came up with two major policy decisions that to date, has shaped the way and manner that this country is being seen. The first one is the removal of fuel subsidy, and the second one is the unification of the exchange rate. Now, we need to speak about these two first, because these are the two major reforms, even before the tax reform came in, that has really shaped the way this country has moved since May 29 of 2023. It is Mr. President's thinking that you cannot build an economy where the foundation itself is extremely faulty. As at May of 2023, about 27 states out of 26, out of 36 that we have in this country, were even unable to pay salaries. Many of them are just living on overdraft, meaning that they go to commercial banks all the time, borrow money. By the time it is month end, they have to go back after they have taken these resources from them. And we are also told, and it's a fact, and all of you know this, that about 97% of our earnings, of our income, is actually going to service debt. Now, it's impossible for any kind of a country to survive along that trajectory. Just pause momentarily and consider yourself. If you're a family man and you are the head of that family, and 97% of whatever comes to you is being used to service debts, now what is left for you to now take care of other things? Nigeria was moving in a direction that was really very uncertain. Domestic debt was piling. The international debt was also accumulating. Trust was declining. Direction was hazy. No one knew exactly where this country was going economically. Of course, if there was anything that was assured, it was that we were headed in the wrong direction. And so, for Mr. President, even though this was not a popular thing to do, especially for a first-time president, he took this very bold step by ensuring that about 4 decades of this wishful thinking that Nigerians, especially have had, that there's a need for us to take away this monster called fuel subsidy. For about 4 decades, I know people have been trying leadership. President after president, will make that promise, but it was impossible to achieve. But Mr. President thought we were living on borrowed time. The foundation was really very, very shaky. And so if he didn't take that, it was not convenient politically, as all of you know, for the first-time president to embark on such a major surgical restructuring of Nigeria's economy, because the attendant consequence was that we were going to have shock in the system. Many people are going to be dislodged economically for a temporary period. But like he has always said, and he has always used this metaphor, it is akin to having a woman in labor who will feel the pain and who will tell you never again. But as soon as that delivery is being done, this same woman will look at the baby, smile, and within a few weeks will also want to have a repeat of what she has gone through in the previous 9 months. So this is the metaphor that Mr. President has been using. The economy is bad. What do we do? So let's go back to the basics. The only way that is possible is to bring the resources that belong to Nigeria to the Nigerian people, not to only a few that were making a lot of money from it. So that happened. Second, we also undertook this unification of the exchange rate. Now, for those of you, and I know that most of you here are in the private sector, how pre-May 2023, it was impossible for anyone to plan his way in any business. The exchange rate you had in the morning will be different from the one you have in the afternoon, will be again different from the one you have in the evening. You are also unsure of what will happen the following day. So Mr. President said, no, that cannot happen. You cannot have a system where planning becomes a problem, because without planning, of course, you know the rest of it. So these 2 major decisions were taken. Now, you know what happened between May 2023 and especially for the first 1 year of the reforms. Shocks were really created, unintended. The president never, thought that anyone should suffer, or any businessman will be out of business, or will have difficulty doing his businesses, or people who are, on their farmlands, families having difficulty because food prices went up. So many things now happen. Now, and he kept telling Nigerians that these are temporary, unintended consequences of these major reforms that were happening. And truth is what are we seeing today? We have seen between May of 2023 and now a significant leap in first even our foreign reserves. Our foreign reserve is about $46 billion. That's the highest in about 8 years. Headline inflation, which was put at about 39%, is now down to about 15%. Food inflation is even down to about 10%, what it used to be only about a year, 3 or 4 months ago. So all these things are indication, and we have heard from the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy. We have heard from all those within the financial system that indeed Nigeria is headed in the right direction. Only 2 days ago, the managing director of the World Bank was here to see Mr. President, and she has affirmed, and these are her words, that of all the countries that are looking at, Nigeria appears to be the one that has this positive outlook consistently, because these reforms are being upheld without let or hindrance. No matter the difficulty, somehow the president manages with his team to trudge on, so that, because at the end of the day, he believes that unless you return to the economy to a path that it can have growth sustainably, it is difficult for any meaningful development to happen in any sector of our economy. So, these are some of those things that happen. Then the tax reform. I mean, all of you that are directly involved with the tax matters are aware of the hue and cry that attended the presentation of the tax reform bill at the National Assembly. Even some of the state governors, particularly those in the northern part of the country, because they were not properly educated about it at that time, didn't understand what the reforms were all about. But now that we are seeing what it is in its true shape, these reforms, especially the tax reform, is not meant so that people can pay more tax. No, it is to remove this kind of duplication that we have, to simplify the process, and to make to bring those that were hitherto outside this net into the tax net, so that there will be better revenue for our people, so that we can have better polls that we can plan for the progress and for development of our people. So in a way, the point I'm trying to raise is that we had a situation where the situation was completely hazy for everyone in May of 2023. And 2.5 years or more after that, we're beginning to see a direction that indeed the economy has not just turned the corner, but it is also receiving the acceptance of the people domestically. It's also receiving the acceptance of the international community. In the last quarter of 2025, the Financial Action Task Force delisted Nigeria from the so-called gray list. What this means is that Nigerians have better rating for people, for businesses and for governments to now access capital for development outside this country, even with the problems that we appear to have, for example, with the United States of America. For the first time, the US is investing in medical, in the health sector. The kind of money they are voting there is unprecedented. No country on the whole of the continent has had this, this opportunity of having the United States, investing in their health sector like we're doing in Nigeria. And all the rating agencies and all of them, the Fitch, the Moody's, all of them are giving a positive tick for the Nigerian economy. Now, this is an indication that, yes, the Mr. President was right, first in his visioning, and then in his process of actualizing that we need to move sustainably in this direction for the progress and for the sustainable unity of this country. This is the background that I think that I will say. Now, the key thing here is trust, like you have said, trust in public communication. For me, as Minister of Information, when I took office, the first thing I mentioned was that I was going to return trust to public communication. Once upon a time in this country, elected and appointed officials are not being trusted by the same people who, either elected them or appointed them in the first place. The meaning is that once a public official appears on television or is being listened to over the radio, chances are that, you say, what is he saying again? What have they come up with again? Nobody wants to listen. Nobody trusts what government officials were doing. And we felt that this is bad. Without trust, there is no way you can build confidence. Without confidence, there is no way you can have development, any meaningful development, whether in your family, in your society, in your community, or a country that is so diverse like ours, with over 200 million people. So my task as information officer is to ensure that we return that trust that the public needs to have in the people that they have either appointed or elected, so that at least they can believe that what they are doing is right for them. And then they also have the opportunity to continue to engage with them and to interact with them. And everything that we have done in the Ministry of Information and National Orientation is to ensure that we return that trust to this thing called communication. And it is also two-way. How do you do that? You do that because you need to know that, and you need to also put out there, people need to believe what you say. If they feel that you are dishonest, if they feel that you are telling them lies, if they don't believe what you say, if they feel that you are just doing propaganda, you are not communicating properly what the situation is on ground, nobody will trust you. But once they feel it, they have this confidence that indeed what you are telling them is the truth, or at least they can see reason in what you are saying, then chances are that they will listen to you, they will wait, and then they can even be patient with some of those programs and policies that you think you have. As Minister of Information and National Orientation, our job is to ensure that whatever policies of government there are, policies and programs of government there are, we communicate them effectively in the most transparent manner to the Nigerian public, so that we can engender this understanding and make them to believe and trust these policies of government, and then also take feedback from government, because communication is not a one-way thing. We also take feedback from government and then take to the president. Many of you will be shocked that whenever I speak to Mr. President, what he tells me is, okay, this policies, how has it been accepted? And then we also have our own in-house mechanism through our own system of knowing what policies are accepted, what are not, and then we come back and fine-tune. And that's why you see the president sometimes, coming back to say, okay, this policy A that we have instituted, we are adjusting it because of this. It is all because of the kind of feedback that we do get. Sometimes people say, why is government saying this, and then coming back to change? Mr. President is a very proactive leader. He's one that listens, and he's not ashamed to say, look, we have embarked on this particular journey, but we think that there's a problem here. Why don't we adjust and redress or trace our steps so that we can get it right in the interest of Nigeria? This is the only president that I know that does not shy away from taking back whatever policy he has earlier approved, if he now has a clearer picture that indeed Nigerians do not want this direction that they want to go. But he's also a very stubborn believer in some of the policies that he thinks are, arguably the most important that you need to put out so that Nigeria can have sustainable development. Mr. President is a stubborn reformer, if you will. If he believes that these reforms are necessary for us to have a country that we all desire, he will be very stubborn about it, as we can see in some of the steps that he has taken. Maybe I will pause here, and then if I hear some other comments or suggestions, then I can shed light on them.
Oh, thank you so very much, Honourable Minister. You've given us a whole lot of those here, and that's well taken in. Thank you so very much for those information dispensed. I would like to find out, Honourable Minister, many countries now publish reform scorecard tracking promises against outcomes. Is Nigeria ready for that level of transparency, particularly on budget performances and tax collection?
Yes, I think we are ready. Yeah, but do we have all the systems yet in place, or are we so I mean, are we where we are on that to gauge that and put it? I would say, you know, it's still work in progress, to be honest with you. But I want to tell you that Mr. President is very, very proud. Let me give you just an example. Only this afternoon, I went to the Code of Conduct Bureau to verify my assets. This is the first time you will have a government that says, no, don't just fill forms and say you have asset B, asset A, asset C. Come and verify. Let's know. I spent 2 hours with the Code of Conduct Bureau verifying some of the things that I lay claim to that are mine. And this is what they do with everyone, you know, from the governors to the permanent secretaries to the ministers to heads of agencies. You have to go and transparently, you know, declare or verify that yes, asset A is indeed yours. And then the idea is that we don't just wait and say somebody has made a mistake or he has declared an asset that does not belong to him or he has exaggerated. Or verify it first. You know, that level of transparency is one example. I just saw that today. You know, it's an example of the indication of the seriousness of this administration to do that. And you have to know that Mr. President has a special advisor, a whole special advisor, which is really almost the equivalent of a cabinet position in charge of coordination in government, the office headed by Bala Usman. Now, the idea is that they continue to track and monitor performance in key ministries and key agencies so that we can then have the data that we need to now ultimately have the kind of system that you are alluding to. I don't want to say, as I sit here, that we are already perfect in that. I think it is work in progress and we'll continue to do. And I want to believe that as we trudge on, I had a visitor yesterday on a courtesy visit, the head of the registrar of the Corporate Affairs Commission. And I was shocked to see the kind of transformation that has happened within the Corporate Affairs Commission in just 2.5 years. It's amazing what I've seen there. And this is consistent and in line with the vision of the president to improve in the way that we do businesses in this country. You are aware, I'm sure, of what is called PEBEC, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. It's not new to this administration. I mean, it's not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that instituted it, but surely President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has consolidated PEBEC, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, to ease businesses for this country. We have reached a level where you can register business in 10 minutes in this country. It's unbelievable. In the past, when you even want to set up a company, you have to go and book a name, and then they'll say wait until after a certain number of days, 30 days or 60 days, to know whether that name is acceptable or not. Today, they have deployed technology, they have deployed AI. In the comfort of your room, you are able to know whether the name you have reserved can actually sell through or not. In the comfort of your office, you don't even need to do that. They went a step further, and this is amusing that they also have what they call the registering businesses and all affairs of Corporate Affairs Commission. You have to have lawyers in place and all that. I hope the lawyers will not feel that this is taking away their jobs, but I'm happy to note that the Corporate Affairs Commission have what they call the AI lawyer. You can ask a lawyer will tell you this company can go through or not go through in the comfort of your room without consulting any fiscal lawyer. They have it in the Corporate Affairs Commission. On the 9th of this month, next week, Monday, I think, they're going to have, CAC is going to be 35 years in existence, and they're going to celebrate that. And I've told them, why don't you showcase this? Let Nigerians know the kind of reforms that are happening, for the betterment of our country. Look at also what is happening in the oil sector. Almost everyone is returning. The medical industrialization that we're having is unprecedented. Today in this country, we have, centers of oncology centers where you can treat cancer with the best kind of equipment you can find anywhere in the world. If you go to America today, if you go to India, if you go to Dubai, the kind of equipment that you find there is the kind that you go and see in Katsina today, you go and see in Enugu, you go and see in Benin. All these oncology centers were set up and they are functional as we speak. This in addition to the ones that are already springing up. Over 800 healthcare centers are already being revamped. So much is happening in all the sectors of this, and it is transparent because Nigerians are being told about them. We at the ministry, we have what is called the regular ministerial press briefing, in addition to some other things that we do to showcase all this to the world. So I think what we need is that these reforms are not things that just happen overnight. They are work of a deliberate, calculated, and disciplined effort to arrive at a destination. I think we're on the right journey towards that. We only call on Nigeria to be patient and allow this process to drive through. The tax reform system that the government instituted is a clear example of how government can listen, adjust, but if they believe in what they are doing, dig in and continue in a direction that they think will be sustainably good for the country. And this is the direction we are going. It's only less than about a month now in operation, and we can see already how the tax reform system can help this economy to be better positioned for the betterment of all of us.
All right, Honourable Minister, just like my president mentioned earlier on, that over 60,000 chartered accountants are listening to you across the globe. And of course, they are listening with rapt attention. And one of us just made a comment. See, what a real elaboration. This is the first time that a figure from the presidency is unleashing such a logical and truthful clarification. That shows that indeed our members are following this program and are listening to you with rapt attention. And that will take me to this question. In this age of social media, skepticism spreads very fast. Even falsehood spread very fast like wildfire. How does government distinguish between legitimate criticism that should shape policy and reforms and misinformation that undermines reform efforts?
Well, thank you for bringing this up. I think this is the most important part of any person in the business of communication on the face of the earth today. I mean, this is not just a Nigerian matter. Fake news, disinformation, and things like that are not just issues about Nigeria. They're not just issues for the developing countries. We are seeing how countries are now beginning to come out to say, look, we need to find a way to deal with this matter of fake news. Is a terrible thing. I mean, if we don't fight it, some years ago, when you talk about regulating the social media, for example, because people felt that social media has given them the opportunity, and it has indeed actually, for them to now air their views without necessarily going through any major mainstream platform, which is true. Social media it has come to stay. It has been very, very useful. It has been helpful. I just talked about the AI that how it's transforming the business registration in the country. AI is being involved in the medical field. It is also involved in journalism, in teaching everywhere. But fake news is a dangerous phenomenon. We have seen how that has affected democracies, even the so-called advanced democracies of the world. I mean, you know what I mean. If you talk about fake news, Nigeria does not even come to you first and foremost. You have to think elsewhere. Where you don't even assume that fake news will happen. It's happening there, and we are seeing it. In some cases, even being institutionalized. So for us, it is a big problem. And only a few weeks ago, I hosted all the agencies, the regulatory agencies, that are either in charge of the technical side of information dissemination or the content side. The Minister of Communication was in my office, and then some of the agencies, National Communications Commission, NIDA, Data Protection Council. From the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, we have the Advertiser Registration Council of Nigeria, we have the National Broadcasting Commission, all of us coming together to brainstorm, to look at this whole matter. What is it that we can do to actually clean up this system so that we can reduce the menace of fake news in our society? All of us need to do it. In the past, a few years ago, if you bring this up, people will think that you're trying to trample or to stifle freedom of information in this country. But we all know, because almost all of us now are negatively impacted by fake news in this country. And so one of the ways that the Ministry of Information and National, and I'm happy to mention to you that only recently the Ministry of Information and National Orientation won the hosting right from UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, to host the first of its kind UNESCO Category 2 Media and Information Literacy Institute in Nigeria. The first of its kind. UNESCO, in part of its effort to also clean the world of this menace of fake news, thought that it was necessary to have an institute that is dedicated to media and information literacy. It is possible that you are literate, but you are also not media literate, and that's why you see even educated people, even people who are in public spaces, reproducing ignorance, unknowingly, or sometimes even being part of those who are peddling this fake news in the first place. So the Media Information Literacy Center has given. We followed it for 2 years. I didn't start it. My predecessor started, but I stayed on it for 2 years. Went through all hurdles, competed with some of the advanced, some of the more stable democracies in the world, and today I can tell you that Nigeria has been given the hosting right. We're going to launch it in this, hopefully in March, for this institute to take place. It will help people to discern, to train not just media people, but our young men and women how to discern between what is fake news and what is good news, so that at least we can reduce the menace of that, and also to encourage people to self-regulate on their own. The media is already doing that. Everybody is impacted by fake news. If you don't do away with fake news or find a way to minimize its impact on your society, you wake up one day and you don't have a country. You can be sitting here and somebody will tell you that we are in Sokoto now. There's the bomb that has dropped. Just imagine what happened on the 26th of the early hours of the 26th of December, when the American government, came as part of, the collaborative effort we are making to rid this country of the impact of these extremists, especially these fanatics and religious bigots that are coming to this country, especially from the Sahel. And then we woke up in the morning and you heard that bombs have drawn in Offa. They have drawn in this one. People didn't even wait to see where the bombs have dropped, and the news was there. It took me some time to respond. As Minister of Information, by 3 a.m. I had international media already asking me questions. But all we did was to give a holding statement first for us to understand what really happened, who is involved. Is Nigeria really engaged with the Americans? Are they together in this? What kind of missiles or what kind of equipment were used? And did it hit the right target? How many were eliminated? Was there any impact? What's the direction of that? So all this, you have to pieces together. It took some time for us to respond, but we had to respond responsibly in a way and manner that nobody could fault. So these are some of the things that you need to do as Minister of Information. It is important and critical. I speak on behalf of the government of Nigeria, and once something comes out of my mouth that people can fault immediately, that trust that I told you about is already taken away. And then if you don't have that trust, communication has broken down. Nobody will listen to you. The moment you come on air and say, see this man, the man don't come again. We have had situations like that in this country. We must clean up this system so that we go forward. So yes, fake news, misinformation, misinformation and disinformation, really bad for our society, but we are working hard. There is already an interministerial committee that is working together to ensure that we find the best way to allow this to thrive. Social media has come to stay. We can't take it away, but we must create an enabling environment for us to take only the best out of it and deny people the space for them to use it to destroy us or to put us in a state of disunity. Anybody's right should end where the other person's own begin. Yes, media freedom is absolutely critical for the growth and development of democracy, but it is also important that there must be absolute responsibility in executing or carrying out that freedom that you think that you have.
Thank you so very much, Honourable Minister. You've quite said a lot with respect to that, and that's quite welcome. Maybe I should just stole a bit more on the line of my thoughts. I would like to find out, sir, 5 years from now, 5 years from now, how should an ordinary Nigerian know without reading policy documents that today's budget reforms and tax changes were worth the sacrifice? What should feel tangible and different in their lives?
Well, you're sounding a little bit more technical now. You know, I'm only Minister of Information, and but of course, I know that it's my duty to be jack of all trade and to be master of all. You know, I understand that within the but what I can tell you is that this reform instituted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are indeed going the right direction. I mean, you look at the complaints that we have had in terms of budget performance in the last, two budget cycles. One budget running into another. It's not intended, but we've had that situation. But the president came out to say at the last budget presentation that indeed this is a budget that would be executed to the letter. Now, executing a budget to the letter does not mean that every naira and kobo that is pinned down there will have, because a budget is only about projection. It is not an absolute statement of fact. But look at what we are doing in infrastructure, for example, is going to be worth the while. The Lagos Badagry, Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, 700 kilometers. I know that there's so much hue and cry about it, but ultimately we know that it's going to improve business along that coastal area. The Sokoto Badagry, about 1,000 kilometers. We're told about 60 dams are going to spring up once this road construction is in progress. Now it's going to impact agriculture, it's going to impact power, because dams are not just for irrigation, they're also for power. And in the process, of course, people will get employed, people will practice agriculture, economy will boom, and it will be worthwhile for everyone. And again, let me mention some of the gains that this tax reform. Look at NEL Fund, for example, the Student Education Loan Fund. To date, over 900,000 young men and women are in school as a result of that policy. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what he's saying is this: no any school-going young man or woman that is desirous of going to school, that indeed has that qualification and the requisite qualification to go to a tertiary institution, is denied access simply on account of the inability of his parents or guardian to pay for his tuition and to pay for his upkeep. Now, since the commencement of that about a year and a half ago, about 174 billion, these are the statistics I think as at yesterday or so, about 174 billion naira has been committed to date. And the president said whatever it will take for our young men and women to be educated, we must continue along that line. This is one practical example of how reform can help to work. All the states, look at the infrastructure, happening around the states. The states are receiving twice, sometimes 3 times, what they used to get pre-May 29, 2023, simply on account of this reform. None of them is complaining. Is there any state in Nigeria today that can look at its workers and say we're unable to pay salary? If they do, if anyone exists in that direction, it is just a matter of choice, not because of the inability to do that. Look at the massive infrastructure, and all of them are testifying. The governors in themselves are saying there is no excuse for any subnational not to operate. And the president is saying it should not end at the state level. He has gone to Supreme Court, the executive branch has gone to Supreme Court to test what the local government autonomy bill law. And the Supreme Court has reached.
We apologize for the breaking transmission. We do hope to consistently continue with this program, but it's looking like the network is doing us funny. But we are very optimistic that in no time we'll get him linked back, and so that I can wrap up and continue with his thoughts. Please just hook in there and relax. We've on a good ride and we enjoy this program. Tosin, what do you have to say?
Exactly, Bishop. You could see comments from our members actually following the Honourable Minister, saying that those words are actually truthful. And before accountants were judge someone to be truthful, it tells you how they have listened with rapt attention and how they have been able to analyze those words before coming to that judgment. Honourable Minister is actually hitting the nail on the head. But the network, just like you mentioned, couldn't actually allow us to enjoy him better as we would have expected.
And he's a very articulate, he's an articulate speaker. I mean, the fact that, you're welcome back. I think.
Okay, he's back. The minister is back. Okay.
So, yeah, you can please continue.
Sorry about
Can you hear us, sir?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay, IT, please spotlight the Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much.
We can see you, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I just thought we'll wrap up because of the time.
So finally, because of our time and your comments, in closing, ICAN is always open to ideas that would positively advance the growth of our members, the accountancy profession, and the Nigerian business environment at large. In your capacity as the Honourable Minister of Information and National Orientation, what is your advice to ICAN in performing our adversarial role and to possibly also support the growth of professionals and Nigeria as a project?
Well, thank you very much. Like every professional and consistent with what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu always says, this profession, wherever you are, whichever corner that you find yourself, you have a role to play to ensure that this country, moves to the right direction. It's not just for government to do. It's not just for the president, not for the governor, not for the ministers, not only for the chairman or commissioner, whoever they are. All professionals have a responsibility to ensure that what they do is consistent with the mandate that they have, so that they can make this place a better place. You as accountants, very respected ones. I mean, I can, even in our young days, when you hear that somebody is a certified accountant, I mean, you doff your cap for him. And I think yes, it is. That's the truth. Anybody that he's ICAN certified, so that ICAN certification is not just for you to bear the name. I think it is for you to put positively to ensure reduce corruption to the barest minimum, ensure that the private sector and the public sectors are all aligned with the kind of ethics that you have, so that you can help drive the economy the right direction. We are being told that it's impossible for fraud to even if you don't have ICAN people there. So is that if corruption is growing, ICAN has a big role to play to ensure that it does not happen. There is no company that does not file tax, returns, financial statements. These financial statements are done by you. All those that sit and check the checks and look at where the funds are ICAN people. So you have a very critical role to play. And I will only appeal, just like the president always says, let all of us do our bits in our corners. Ensure that we abide by the rules. Be assured that whatever ethics your profession puts down there, and they are there. There's nothing that is new there. I'm just talking like a preacher who is not saying anything new. You already know, to ensure that we have a society that all of us will be proud of. And this is not just for ICAN, it's for all professionals, wherever they may find themselves, in the length and breadth of this country.
Wow. Thank you very much, the Honourable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Malam Mohammed Idris. We're so glad to have you on this show today. Thank you so much for giving us some time out of your busy schedule. And we hope that when next we call on you as an institute, you will hearken unto us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. And I wish you Happy New Year, all of you. And I want to assure you that the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation is always there to service all Nigerians consistent with our mandate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Before you go, my president, whom you share the same state with, like you mentioned earlier, is also still on this call, and we want to also give his vote of thanks. Mr. President, over to you, sir.
Thank you very, very much, the Honourable Minister, my very, very good elder brother. I'm very proud of you. You've done me very well. And I know that you've heightened my profile in the Institute, that I have home backing, that I can call on minister anytime, call on governor anytime. Thank you very much, sir, for being supportive to our cause. On behalf of Council and the entire members of the Institute, we thank you very much for finding time to be on this program. This program, like we said earlier, is an international program that our members are watching all over the world. And it will be on the YouTube that even generation after us will be able to see in due course. We thank you also for preaching to the converted, for us to keep our ethics, our ethos of the profession, and we promise you that we'll continue to do that. However, I want to make a slight correction. It is not every fraud that ICAN members are involved. We are fighting corruption seriously, and we will continue to fight it. So there are accountants, yes, but not all accountants are ICAN members. So on that note, we thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next episode. Thank you. My distinguished professional members, colleagues, we thank you for rapt attention, and the comments that you'll be making is very encouraging, and we look forward to see you more again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. All right, bye.
We'll take a short break right about now, and we'll be right back after the short break. Stay tuned, don't go away as you pay attention to a few information that will be rolling in next. Please stay tuned.
He knows what it takes to succeed.
She has the skill to move financial mountains.
So can you with ICAN and the CGMA designation.
She has the confidence to lead.
All right, we are back. It's just a short one. Just a short one there. Of course, you can hear from the Honourable Minister how he has been able to talk to us on the various reforms that is happening in the country under this administration, how our Nigerians should actually have faith in that this administration, knowing that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Bishop, what do you say? What do you think? Hello, Bishop. Can you hear me?
Thank you so very much. I never knew I was muted. Thank you. All right, you're correct. And sometimes we can be overwhelmed with the myriads of things assailing us that we forget to take note of the little changes that have started taking place. And I think based on what the Honourable Minister said, and of course some of the things we can observe is applaudable, and it's quite hopeful that if we continue with this trajectory, it's obvious that we'll be out of the woods in no time. We need to quickly just say that it's so amazing that if you just walk in the right direction and do the right thing, As long as you can be consistent with it, success is guaranteed. And with Nigeria, it's an ongoing project. It's a going concern. And we can be certain that with the help of God and the consistency on the pedals, we'll get to where we need to get to and we'll achieve our purpose with time. We apologize to all our members who have been trying to ask questions. It's a very special edition, and unfortunately, we couldn't take as many questions as we would have loved to have entertained on this edition. We can see all your questions and all your comments. We can see all of them, and we thank you for joining. We thank you for contributing. We thank you for wanting to be a part of something that is applaudable. But sadly, we couldn't take some of those questions. I think we can just even, Tosin, acknowledge some of our participants and identify where they're joining us from before we call it a wrap today. We identify all of you, those who are joining us from far and near. I can cite a couple of you here. Peter Akamino Core. Thank you for joining us. Sanusi Olusi from Alimosho, we acknowledge you. We acknowledge Ibrahim Oyinoyi. We acknowledge you, Fagbola Temitokbe, as usual. Adewale Adebayo. We acknowledge you, Iken Njoku. We acknowledge you, Yaya Usman. We acknowledge you, and myriads of you. The time will fail me to acknowledge you one after the other, but we salute your solidarity and we commend your consistency in tuning in every time it's ICAN on air. That's the bit of comment I can take from the comment section. We acknowledge every one of you, and we appreciate you for what you do to make this program the success it has always been. Tossing over to you, please. We'll be having some announcements to take, which we'll be taking shortly. Tosin, can you hear me? Okay. All right. I think his network is acting funny, but it will soon be back. But in the interim, let me quickly highlight some of the announcements, and we will still take one or two more things before we call it a wrap today. The registration for March edition of the 2026 diet of ATWA exam is still ongoing, and the exam date remains Tuesday the 24th and Wednesday the 25th of March 2026. You want to maximize that opportunity because registration deadline and deadline for change of exam center remains Thursday the 19th of March 2026. Please download your examination dockets as they will be available from March 22nd 2026 on the Institute's website. And ICAN is still inviting people to submit their papers from the 11th International Accounting Conference, International Academic Conference on Accounting and Finance. The abstract deadline is February 28, 2026, and the full paper deadline is March 15, 2026. Special highlights PhD MSc colloquium with 300,000 naira for the best paper prize. It's one of the prizes you will now want to slide out. Please, paper presenters, remember that you earn 16 MCPD credit hours, and early bird discount is available if you put in that honor before February the 28th, 2026. Please submit via the research and technical at ican.org.ng. Research and technical, one word, at ican.org.ng. A final announcement, the second and last. Stay informed with verify updates from ICAN, as ICAN members newsletter is now available online. It features the office official institutes updates, professional insights, key announcements, and essential information for members. Visit our website or social media platform to access the link. Also, get ready for the ICAN Annual Dinner and Award Night. The date is May 16, 2026. It promises to be an unforgettable night of elegance and honor, an evening that brings distinguished members of ICAN together in true style. Please do not forget the date is May 16, 2026. ICAN has approved a one-time concession for eligible members to regularize their practice attachment documents. These concessions apply to members who have completed a minimum of 6 months and up to the required 36 months of practical audit training, but did not document their practice attachment within the prescribed period. The duration for this is 16th January to 15th July 2026. Application fee is just 20,000 naira. I'm afraid my time is running. I have just a few more information. Please stick with me. Young accountants, there's a free webinar coming up on February 13, 2026. Make sure you register for 3 p.m. It is free, and you earn 2 MCPD if you register and you're a participant of this webinar that will be taking place on Zoom. And I can present the Sustainable Business and ESG certification, training and certification training. It's a comprehensive 5-day hybrid program. You want to join. The first sets run February 9 to 13 and September 9 to 17, all 2026. I'll be forced to pause there because of our time. Please visit the website to get every other information that I'm not able to dispense at this time. Tosin, please, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bishop. I think that's a very good one. Members have actually listened, and I'm sure those programs, they will cue in. And that's all from her side today. The Western Zonal Accountant Conference, the 20th edition, is ongoing. Today is day 2. Some of the programs, highlights of the programs, will be shown to our members so that they can have an hit into what is going on already. Till another time, you see us again. I'm Tosin Akinwumi, FCA, saying thank you for watching and bye for now.
And I'm Isijola Blessing, the Bishop, ACA. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
We would like to warmly welcome you all to Mutual Benefit Assurance PLC. Integrity is our watchword.